The Burka ban debate in France that could reach Britain's borders.
Calls for a ban on the full-face veil in public overseas could affect thousands of Muslims here in the Midlands.
A breach on human rights and religion. Both sides of the argument on Wednesday's Central Tonight. Good evening. The French are one step closer to banning the Islamic full-face veil in public, and now there are fears the ban on the burqa could come to Britain.
It's a debate that has ignited intense interest across the country, and especially here in the Midlands, with Leicester and Birmingham amongst those areas that are home to thousands of Muslim residents.
Well, joining us here in our studio for more on this is Salma Yaqoob, the Birmingham-based leader of the Respect Party, who's against a ban on the burqa.
And we've also got Conservative MP Philip Hollobone, who represents Kettering. He joins us from our studio at Westminster. He's calling for the introduction of legislation that would ban Muslim women from wearing the burqa, and has already described the veil as offensive and against the British way of life.
We'll hear from both guests in just a moment, but first, here are the thoughts of people from the Midlands.
I just think banning the burqa is just completely wrong. It's freedom of who we are, you know, it's modesty, it shows how respectful we are, and it's just completely wrong.
People, they are free. They wear what they want.
I don't think necessarily a ban. Maybe in some places like banks and where it's very important for security, like airports, I totally understand.
I think it's more political than actually practical. It's not really a good idea to tell people how to dress in public.
You hear these stories about where men could be dressed with it, don't you? And with the terrorist thing going on as it is, I think maybe it's a move in the right direction.
Well, certainly a garment that causes controversy. Yeah. Let's find out exactly what Philip Hollobone wants, and why, Philip, do you want the actual burqa banned?
Well, good evening. I mean, in my view, covering your face in public is against the British way of life, and part of the joy of living in Britain is that you can walk down the street, wave, smile, say hello at passers-by. Sometimes you're meeting someone for the first time. Sometimes you recognise other people, and if your face is covered, you can't have this normal, everyday human interaction.
Salma, can you appreciate that argument?
Of course, on an emotional level, people are fully entitled to what they feel, and I personally don't choose to wear it, and obviously I wouldn't be comfortable doing so. But what I want to say is it's not about whether we like something. We're all entitled to have opinions, but when it comes to using state law to ban something, that's a different case altogether, and I'm just concerned that we're using such a blunt instrument for something actually which is a tiny minority of a community wear it, and actually it's about demonising and making them even more vulnerable rather than really about integration. I don't think this is about community cohesion. If anything, the kind of approach that Philip is advocating is one where people start thinking, oh, we don't like that, and we don't think you should be able to do it.
Okay, well, Philip, do you agree, or can you see Salma's point of view in that this is stigmatising the Muslim community? They're already complaining that they are seen as terrorists in some respects, and this doesn't help.
Well, I've got huge respect for Islam. It's one of the world's great religions, and I absolutely respect the wish of Muslim women to preserve their modesty, but they can do this quite successfully by wearing the hijab or the chador. It's when you cover your whole face that the issue arises, and I believe that crosses an unacceptable line.
Salma, what about the argument we heard from one of the people we interviewed just now, who said it's a cover for terrorism as well?
Well, when it comes to security issues, every citizen should be subject to the same law. So whether it's at an airport or at a bank or indeed on a bus where you have to identify yourself, in these situations, of course, women should be unveiling to identify themselves, and they do. That's already the case. No one is exempt from that. So it's almost a false argument that somehow they've got this kind of special treatment. And I'm somebody who actually campaigns vigorously when it comes to countries like Saudi Arabia and Iran, where women are forced to cover up, is taking away that dignity of choice. And I think it's then hypocritical to say where women want to cover up, they should be forced to uncover. And the great thing about being British actually is that we do have a live and let live attitude. That for me is what being British is about.
Thank you for the arguments.
Sadly, yes, we're going to have to leave it there. Philip Hollobone and Salma Yaqoob, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.